Mr. Sirleaf.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to propose a motion similar to option 2, but with 3 additional points.
And those 3 additional points?
Just waiting for everyone to get there. The 3 additional points, point 4 would be request that the Chief Executive Officer review if the Technology Department is adequately staffed and resourced. Point 5, notes that the results of the ICT audit highlight a need for additional resources to ensure that the Shire's ICT services provide a secure environment. And point 6, request that a progress report be presented to the Audit, Risk and Governance Committee at the next meeting.
Can we just take a minute
Yeah.
to probably go through those again for the minute secretary?
Shall I bring them over? I think I prepared earlier. You'll have to forgive me if my terminology of the departments isn't correct.
The only thought that I crossed between my mind is something that this meeting wants to do with that.
Yeah, would it be more appropriate to add that now or when we take the motion for the risk register? I am. Fantastic, yes.
So, Minute Secretary, rather than request a progress report, maybe we say.
We could say that request that the strategic risk register be updated to include the findings or to include the
risk and associated controls.
No, I think the whole items need to be, all of the items need to be included on that risk register. All of them, all of those actions that they've got there should be on the risk register and record against them. And that way you're actually getting a quarterly report. Yeah. Yes, there's 16 items.
Point 4, Mandy, could actually be the ICT department.
As the mover, are you happy with the proposed motion as we see it on the screen?
Thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Through the chair, could I please ask the mover if he would be happy to update item 4 to add something extra to why the IT department would be adequately staffed and resourced, because it's a dead end. You're referring to the report in other points, think you should probably refer to the report in point 4 as well.
Sure. Do you have a recommendation? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it is rather open-ended otherwise.
Can I have a seconder? Oh, Ms. Newby. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried unanimously.
And Jacob, we will need a reason for the difference in the officer recommendation too. So a sentence or two that explains what the motion is trying to achieve.
Can I have a minute? We could say the reason for the difference is to ensure that the Shire's ICT services are delivered in a secure manner, keeping in line with evolving cybersecurity risks. Keeping in line, sorry, with evolving cybersecurity risks. Cybersecurity risks, yeah, thank you.
Item 6.2, update on internal audit program, August 2023. Are there any questions in relation to this item? Ms. Berry?
With regards to the inability to find a suitable supplier to undertake the scope of the work, is the reason because the scope is too small or too large and it doesn't fit there for either purpose?
I'll ask the Director of Corporate Services to respond.
Could I just defer to the Manager of Governance, please? He's running our internal audit program.
So to confirm, I'm very referring to the bushfire breaks order. Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons why a couple of suppliers have indicated that they haven't been able to undertake that works. One is that it's actually very much related to the nicheness of the works. So the works themselves involve having some understanding of bushfire and bushfire management, but also skills in audit and in systems analysis and business analysis. So far, many of the audit companies have said they didn't have enough knowledge in the bushfire management side of things, and the bushfire management companies have said they didn't necessarily have the expertise in the audit side of things. There is a fairly narrow window of suppliers that could do the work. I think we have identified someone that can do the work now, but as of recently, as of this morning, was advised that they probably wouldn't be able to do that work in time for the current bushfire season. So that obviously is new information that's come to me this morning. Hasn't been included in the paper, but it is looking now like that particular audit won't be able to be conducted until the conclusion of the bushfire season.
Just thinking outside the box, if you've got someone who can do one part and the other part, can we not get them both doing it together in joint forces?
That was one of the options that was explored. None of the companies have taken up on that. We've also gone to WELGA, we've gone to DFES, we've gone to the Centre of Bushfire Excellence, and we've gone to other local governments as well. So I'd like to assure the committee that every effort has been made to locate a suitable supplier for this. Again, we can only go with what the market is willing to provide. And many of the companies that we've reached out to who normally would provide quotes for this type of work and have used in the past declined to quote given the nature of the work. I also do believe that some companies were apprehensive about conducting an audit given their professional indemnity insurance and the like, which was identified with at least one supplier that I spoke to as a reason why they didn't supply, and I suspect a number of others may not have as well.
Ms Newby?
I was just wondering what our insurer is thinking about this with LGIS. Because it's really pertinent to the management of that risk. And they're in two ways. It's not just the public liability side. They would also be with the property side. It would also affect the bushfire volunteers under the Volunteer Act, that we're not doing this. So I'm just wondering if they have resources, or whether we're going to have to, probably as a group, and this will have to be directed, I guess, by Walga, whether it's been considered that Walga can set up a field of expertise that go around the shires, because it's almost like one shire audits the other. You know, it may be that they have to set up a centre of expertise, because it really does affect LGIS dramatically, I would have thought.
Any thoughts on that, Manager of Governance?
Yes, I spoke extensively to Welga on the matter, and again, they indicated that it was a difficult area, that was an area that they didn't have a great deal of expertise, but understood obviously the risks. The other part associated with the reason why the work will likely be delayed now is that at this point we are now approaching the bushfire season, and the actual operational area would struggle to actually support an audit, which may, which would potentially detract from its operational capabilities at this point, which is unfortunate. But certainly every effort was made to secure a suitable supplier earlier in the piece, as indicated in the report.
Follow-up questions? Any further questions on the item? Oh, Ms Newby?
Sorry, just a couple of things, and this is the part where we're preparing this is part of it under the asset management. Now that's one that we've not commenced, but we're talking about appointing an auditor by September 2023. Given our history was trying to get auditors, that's for that one. And for health safety management system, again, we're looking at October this year. I'm just wondering if we're on track to get those auditors appointed, because if we're not, we're going to struggle to get those ones done as well.
I'll ask the Manager of Governance.
At this stage, I've got no reason to believe that we would struggle to get an audit, particularly for the asset management one. That's a fairly well worn field, I guess, in the audit of asset management. There's numerous companies that would provide that services, and so based on previous experience, I have no reason to suspect that we would not have someone that would be able to do that work. The occupational health and safety audit is one that we've had a external company provide that review previously in 2022. And while we will be going out to the market again, given that we had someone in 2022, I don't anticipate any difficulties in securing a person, particularly the bushfire or fire breaks audit. I think was quite unique in terms of the skills and experience and expertise that was being searched for. There was quite a specific set, which I don't anticipate will be a drama with the asset management and occupational health and safety audits.
And just further to that, if I can, LGIS have also expressed some interest in helping us out with the health and safety one as well, if we need to as well. So I concur with the managers.
Are there any further questions? There being no further questions, can I have a mover? Thank you, Mr. Cirilli. Seconder. Officer's recommendation. Thank you, Ms Newby. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Item 6.3 is the Strategic Risk Register. Are there any questions from the members? Ms Newby?
Risk 6, and it's the bushfire management. Again, the action 2, we're talking about, pardon me, a target date of January 2024. And given our I know that the audit is a little bit separate, but given our difficulty, I know we had last year with the resources, is there a risk of a delay in identifying a resource to undertake that work?
I'll ask the manager,
Director of
the
Community.
director of community engagement.
We don't envisage any issues in delivering on that updated action because that's going to be required for the delivery of our 5-year review of our bushfire risk management plan. So for us to deliver on that review, the work is required in that action. So and also noting that it's been updated to just focus on high risk rather than all reserves. So we are comfortable that we'll be able to deliver on that revised timeline.
Any further questions? Ms. Newby?
Yes, risk, where am I now? I'm still under bushfire management, and that was it covers a couple of things actually. It's under action 18 under bushfire management. It's the technical officer that we're going to have in for full time. Again, I'm just asking the question about resourcing, about whether we're confident that we'll get that resource. And I know that technical officer is always used, is also going to be used under that asset management in risk 8, because the completion of these things is dependent on that resource.
I'll ask the director of infrastructure.
Through the chair. So we have 2 technical officer positions that we've actually just interviewed. We think we'll have them on board in the next 2 to 4 weeks, who will start working on developing schedules, which will include this work as well.
Thank you, director.
That's just for the committee's benefit. That's a couple of new positions the council funded in this year's budget. So new positions we haven't had previously.
Yeah, if I can just add, they were positions identified through the Glen Flood review of the operations. One is a technical officer to help with the parks, and the other one with facilities.
Thank you, director. Ms. Newby, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, well, I've just got one about that environmental sustainability, which is risk 7, and this is the FOGO target date. Look, I know I'm not supposed to really make a comment as such, but it was just, we know that it's been implemented at a couple of councils already. I've got experience with Netherlands and today with CB Echo, which is another thing. But I was just thinking that there's obviously some history now available to help with that audit. And it may be that they've got a resource that could be able to help with that. That was just a comment. And then about risk 11, the community engagement. And I know that the Shire went to a great deal of trouble to get the community to respond to that plan. It was certainly out everywhere you went in the Shire. I was falling across people asking me to comment. I didn't have any time I was supposed to comment. But when I saw the numbers of the percentage that actually had responded, I thought it was quite disappointing. And it's really hard to base the plan based on that community feedback. And I was just wondering if that was kind of whether we've really fulfilled or satisfied the risk, because although we've had community engagement, it was a fairly small percentage of people in the Shire. And I'm just wondering if the view is that we've actually satisfied that risk because of that slow response.
Yep. Director of Community Engagement.
The engagement we delivered for the Shape Our Future project, which it was branded, has been the biggest engagement project undertaken in the Shire, I think, since the SJ 2050 visioning document. I concur with your comments. We as officers would have liked to have had more people respond, but from our perspective, it wasn't from a lack of trying. And I would just bring to the committee's attention that the draft plan has gone back out for community consultation, and I think we've received around 140 responses to that draft plan. So while the numbers may and the percentage may not reflect a level that, you know, we would like to see. We're hoping that by doing the additional engagement, we're testing, you know, the feedback and, you know, the strategies and actions that have been developed from the original community engagement that was delivered.
Perhaps would also be fair to say that we think we targeted and captured the views of segments of the community wouldn't normally get with the pop-up sessions that we held and different approaches that we used. So numbers, you know, were good, we thought. Could have been better. We would have liked 1,000 surveys rather than the 600 and something. But I think we're pretty happy with the diversity and different ranges of people that we don't normally get responses to.
Are there any further questions on this item? Ms. Newby?
This is under the desirable place, which is risk 13. I have a concern about this, whether the Shire is going to be asked by the state and even the federal department to see how we can assist to increase housing supply, since this is a very hot topic at the moment. And if we are, whether we are, we have a plan in place of how we're going to address that.
I'll ask the CEO in the first instance.
Good question, I think. Certainly, one of the thoughts we've been giving some consideration to is about whether there's an opportunity for aged person accommodation, in particular in that social housing bracket, I guess. You might recall that there was a proposal from Baptist Care for a while ago to do a development near Byford. I understand that's just, you know, on the being reviewed at this point in time. So we've been looking at whether there's options for us to have some sort of social aged housing somewhere to allow people to age in place rather than having to leave the Shire and go somewhere else. As to an overall plan for social housing, we don't have anything like that. That's a bit the area we've been giving some thought to, really. And I guess it's one of the things we were thinking we might bring back to the council to consider after the election with the council plan. Is that something they'd like to consider as part of that as a 10-year sort of priority, really?
Are there any further questions? Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Thank you, Ms. Berry. Seconder? Thank Ms. Newby. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Moving to item 7, motions of which notice has been given, which says nil. Item 8, urgent business, which is nil. And drawing to a close, I declare the meeting closed at 6:11 p.m. Thank you for everyone in attendance tonight. And I'd also really like to extend my thanks to all of the members of the committee. This will be the last meeting before the election. So your time is and expertise is very, very appreciated. Thank you.